Howdy. It's Lonnie Ray Williams, President, Independent American Patriots. Been a while. I apologize for that. I've been on the farm, living life. Many of you have been living your life, just putting one foot in front of the other, trying to make sense of the crazy world that's going on around us. Like you, I've witnessed that the government hasn't been there for the people. I knew that they haven't been, but to this scale, to this scope, when you have hundreds of thousands of Americans who've had their livelihoods washed away, their worlds turned upside down, no communications, no transportation, no services, and you've got an incompetent government incapable of doing anything for them. I send in the dogs, apparently. Now, the sad reality is that Americans are doing for Americans what we've done for a long time. And we're the only ones who are capable of doing that. But here's the problem. Government gets in the way and says, no, you guys can't deliver food. No, you can't fly your helicopter in there and rescue somebody. No, we need somebody who's certified. Certified. And government's getting in the way. Now, they'll take our money. And they won't give it back to the people. They'll give it to someone who's not from this country. We'll give it to somebody, heck, in Pakistan or Iraq, even Iran. It doesn't really matter. It can be our enemies and we'll give them money. But we won't give money to our own people. We won't take care of our own people. The bureaucracy of FEMA exists solely for the purpose of undermining the American people. It's not there to support us. Homeland Security exists solely to subjugate the people. They're certainly not there to protect us. They're not there to keep our borders. They're not there to protect us when the disaster happens. So what good is Homeland Security? Now, why is it that an American can't get on a plane without ID and being frisked in all sorts of personal places? But my goodness, if you're from somewhere else, not even proper identification, you come on the plane and just fly wherever you want. Even though 100,000 of these 21 odd million people that's come through this country these past few years is criminals, terrorists, thugs, degenerates from all walks of life. They're allowed to have any sort of firearm they want, but a citizen? Oh, no. We got checks and balances and all sorts of stuff. We got limits on how many bullets you can put in your magazine, and we got limits on how and when and you can purchase a firearm, and heck, who can use it? Unless, of course, you don't abide by the laws of this country, in which case you get a free pass. So the way things are shaping up, you get a free pass and you get the kingdom handed to you and all the keys. But if you're a law-abiding citizen trying to just pay your taxes, get by in life, make something of your countrymen and feed them and, I don't know, be valuable, well, there's no place for you in this country anymore. That's the reality of where we're at. Now, this is a long 3-minute rant to get to where what all you guys know. But what is the Independent American Patriots doing? Well, you know what? We've come to the conclusion that this country's not going to make it. We just don't believe that there are politicians that have the capacity to pull us out of this. You got a handful, 20, 25, maybe 30 in the entire country who actually gives a rat's patootie about people. The rest of them are selfish individuals, who care nothing about anything other than enriching themselves. So what are we doing about it? Well, we're still actively involved in politics, but not in the same way. Because what we're doing is we're going to our town hall meetings and school board meetings or state meetings and other things like that and finding out which politicians are receptive to human beings. Which ones are willing to listen to we the people, if any left? Which ones can we work with? And those are the people that we're working with to make sure that we have life rafts and, little floaties in case we don't know how to swim when big floods come through. That's what we're doing. We're doing practical things because it's impractical anymore to trust in the system. It's impractical anymore to trust in the laws. There are 2,000 laws proposed every single year in this state alone, Washington State. Good conservative states like Utah, things like that, that's 900, maybe 1,000 bills a year. You go over to Florida, how many bills a year they got? Good, solid conservative states, but every one of these laws, every single one of these laws does two things. One, it tells you how to spend money, and two, it curtails a liberty. It tells you how to live a life. We've gotten away from our founding principles, and we acknowledge that voting for politicians who are going to continue to put more bills forward is not the solution. So we're focused on common sense solutions, and that's building your community around you. Sorry, you hear my pigs going right there. That's my family's dinner. That's part of my community's dinner as well. I raise pigs for the community. I raise pigs for homesteaders and my family and friends. I teach them what I can, how to live a self-sufficient life, as self-sufficient as you can be. Because we've learned that when everything falls apart, the only thing that you can rely on is yourself and your community. And that's what we're busy building right now. One of the first things we're doing in our new format is focusing on food storage. We've got a food storage class coming up where we're going to teach people about the basic fundamentals of food storage. There's a lot of people would have liked to have had a little bit of food storage put away in the event that, say, a hurricane comes a few hundred miles inland. That's never happened before, at least in our history. And if people have a little bit of fortitude, to have a little bit of planning and a little bit of resiliency, then we can turn one to another like we always have and make it through this. But the government wants you to rely on them. Why, I don't know, because they've just proven that you cannot rely on the government. But they want you reliant on them. They want you subservient to them. Why? Because they can make sure that you're going to vote the way that keeps you reliant on them. I know, even my pigs are upset about that. There's enough pork in the world that we don't need any more in Washington State or Washington, D.C. There are so many people disgusted on both sides of the aisle that don't want to vote this year. I get it. I totally do. You've got a crook or a selfish individual. Those are your choices. Up and down the aisle. Up and down the stinking aisle. Every single time that someone who represents we the people comes up, you know what happens? Big money comes out. Big money comes out because they don't want we the people to get representation. And they got all sorts of nasty ads to say why you should vote for one person or not. And they're going to make sure that a good, honest person who just wants to represent his fellow neighbors isn't going to get in office. That's the way this system works. Now, we still fight, and we still try, and we still do things that we have. I mean, many of you know I ran for office when my neighbors asked me to. And I did what I needed to do to stand up and represent the people. I'm still fighting that fight. I'm president of the Independent American Patriots, and we've turned away from the nasty politics. We're focusing on what our founding fathers did, coming together as we the people in independent pockets around the entire country to say, what can we do to take care of ourselves? That's what we're doing. What can we do to take care of ourselves? And if you want to figure it out, and if you want to be part of something that wants to take care of yourselves and go back to the basics, we're all learning together. None of us was around in 1775 when the last time we had to figure out how to be self-sufficiency. It happened back then. We had nice clean sheets and clothes that were provided by England, but the moment we decided to go on our own, guess what? We had to learn how to spin again. We had to learn how to make wool and things that we didn't know. We didn't have the right sheep because England would only allow us to have island sheep in most places, which were sheep that couldn't produce wool. So we had to start from scratch. We fought a war not knowing how to make any cannons. It was halfway through the war before we started producing our own bronze or brass cannons. This is what we went through before. Now, none of us are saying that we're at war in our country, but is our country at war with us? That's the same thing that happened with the British. The Americans here, we just came over here and live our lives and trying to do the best we can. But it comes to find out that the aristocrats were at war against us. They wanted to use us to squeeze everything out of us, to drain every little tiny bit of wealth and control that we had out of our own lives and subjugate us. And that's what happened before, and that's what's happening now. The difference is it's the United States government or your state government, Washington State in my case, that wants to be all up in your business, take control of your life, and tell you that you're living wrong and you need to live somewhat different. You know what? I don't care who these idiots think they are. This is the United States of a frickin' America. I'm a direct descendant, 3 different lines of people who came across the Mayflower to live their life in a different way. And I'll be darned if I'm going to sit down and bow down and let these pencil-necked idiots from Washington, D.C. or Olympia tell me how to live my life. Now, I'm a civilized person, I'm a God-fearing person, and I'm a decent person, but don't be coming all up in my business and telling me how to live my life. I'm done. And so are the rest of Americans out here. And if you want to join that type of attitude that understands that government's not there for you, nor ever will be, and that the only one who's ever going to save you is Jesus Christ, well, then you're in the right place with me and my friends. And if not, have fun. Good luck. We know where this is headed. We know the times and that the Constitution hangs by a thread. We know all that. But we have things to do, like raise pigs, chickens, turkeys, rabbits, just to name a few. So that's what we're doing. We're busy doing things differently. We're busy raising animals, turning to food storage, learning how to can, learning how to do the essential, important things to live life. And with that, I hope that answers your question. Now, we've got a food storage class coming for members, and it doesn't take anything to join, but the links are going to be down below in the description box. So please take the time, if you so choose, to want to live a different life, one that our founding fathers lived, by pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps and trying to figure out how you can make a difference in your own community instead of waiting for somebody else to do it, then reach out. We're here for you. If you want to learn about food storage, we've got a food storage class coming up. I think it's just a week from Thursday. So, a week and a day. Either way, links are going to be in the description box. And if you don't know anything about food storage but want to learn, I encourage you to hit us up, and we'll do the best we can to educate you into the capacity that we have. None of us are perfect, but we're all trying to get better every day. And if you're that type of person, well, then you're our type of person. And God bless you. God bless the United States of America.